Chapter 1461 Someone who was thought to not be seen again. Gu Jingze looked and asked, is Lu Baiken that powerful? But of course, little Q was extremely proud, as though he was the first in the entire world. Little Q looked at her again and said, but you're powerful too. Let's play together in the future. Gu Jingze said, we'll do it when we have time. Actually, Lu Baiken did not only have a reputation in the game. In reality, there were not many guys who swaggered like him. Thus, everyone knew who he was. His application for Weibo had to be verified. He had many fans. Many girls had gone to the platform to express their love and admiration for him. Of course, more netizens speculated and observed his daily life as a rich kid. Whenever Lu Baiken had nothing to do and posted something without much thought for it, everyone would start talking about it for the entire day. He did not post too much or too little on Weibo. One post every few days. Sometimes pictures, sometimes playing games, and sometimes reprimanding others. At first, he did not want to start an account with Weibo and gain fame. Initially, he had only gone to the internet to reprimand others. However, it was probably because the scoldings got too real. Sometimes, he would see others mentioning which celebrity was better. Then he would post something like rubbish. You guys haven't seen how he smokes, drinks, and flirts. Sometimes, when a netizen distorts an event too much, he would also reprimand, actually, people are at home having popcorn watching you distort the truth. Then, the massive netizens suddenly discovered him. Everyone knew that such a person could be none other than Lu Baiken, a rich man's son. But how rich exactly was he? Just look at the numerous investments his family has and you would know. Also, with Lu Baiken's good looks, many girls agreed with whatever he said, simply captivated by this young gentleman. As for now, although he was not a celebrity, Lu Baiken had become more famous than many celebrities. After Lu Baiken had posted a game, everyone started to gather again. With the power of the internet and its netizens, he was discovered shortly after. So, Lu Baiken is the population's god, on levels with Bei Shang. So brilliant. Did he play it himself? Yes, both his equipment and skills are top-notch. Everyone had always termed Bei Shang as God Bei. The moment they heard that the game's legendary character would be facing the legend from reality, everyone started speculating even more furiously in an instant, making the news highlighted as the headlines. Soon, Lu Baiken had fangirls not just in school, but out of school as well. Even some merchants had thought of business opportunities and wanted to contact Lu Baiken to do some programs. Of course, Lu Baiken sneered at these, completely uninterested. However, after he discovered that Gu Jingze could play quite well, he would always get Gu Jingze to play as well. Just that, instead of playing the game seriously, he would always bicker with Gu Jingze. It always made the other two who were around to feel awkward. Gu Jingze, can you move to the other side? Gu Jingze, retreat. Why are you standing so up front? Hey, who are you adding blood for? Gu Jingze asked, how can I keep up when you're running so fast? Haha, you're dead and you still blame me for your death. Her classmates had found out as well. She was asked about it the moment she appeared. Hey, you've also started playing the game as well? Lu Yi asked. Gu Jingze said, I only play occasionally. Why? Lu Yi said, isn't this game very popular recently? I see many people are playing it, especially when it's endorsed by Lu Baiken. Really, what does it have to do with Lu Baiken? Gosh, to think you're always with Lu Baiken and you don't know. Lu Baiken is super popular now. Everyone gave him a name. South Emperor and Young Master of the North. Gu Jingze asked, what kind of rubbish is this? South means the south area. There is an Emperor Ming in the S-City. His name is Gu Yiming. He's a brilliant ammunition merchant. North's B City has a distinguished and young Lu Baiken. Both of them wealthy and prominent. So, it's very reputable. Puff. So lots of fangirls have started playing it because Lu Baiken is still playing this game. They just hope to meet Lu Baiken. Gu Jingze was speechless. These people have really got nothing better to do. However, it was no wonder that there were more people observing Lu Baiken recently. True, but everyone is curious about the help recently. They are curious about the person playing the game with Lu Baiken. They don't know who's this legend who gets to play the game with Lu Baiken, and plays it so well. Gu Jingze's hands froze. People were curious about her. Just then, Lu Baiken arrived. He stood at the door and said immediately, Gu Jingze, aren't you going? Under everyone's eyes, Gu Jingze quickly got up to head out with Lu Baiken. It was little Q's birthday today. He had made reservations at a hotel for everyone to get together, play games, and have supper. Though they were very rich, sometimes, when it came to doing things for amusement, they would do it in luxury. A matter of playing games and having supper with friends like this was something they were happy to organize. I've called for takeaways. You guys stay here first, I need to go to the toilet. Little Q got up lazily and went to the bathroom. Little Q kept more of a low profile in their group. Otherwise, given his family's status, it could be a very big and bustling event for a birthday. Just then, the doorbell rang. Gu Jingze kicked Lu Baiken. Go get the door. What? The takeaway is here. Go quickly. Lu Baiken scoffed. Only you would dare to kick the Lord. Just you wait. Gu Jingze stuck her tongue out at him. Lu Baiken went to open the door. When he opened the door, he saw a girl standing outside there with things in her hands. She was in her work uniform, with a face that looked like she got sunburnt. That look was so familiar but somewhat different. However, the person was still as she was. Fu Chengxi. Lu Baiken was immediately stunned. As for Fu Chengxi, who was doing deliveries part-time, had never expected to bump into him at this hotel. Lu Baiken. The things in her hand were dropped to the ground. Lu. She had wanted to leave when Lu Baiken held onto her with his hand. Chengxi, where have you been? I've been looking for you for a long time. Why didn't you give me any explanation and just disappeared? Lu Baiken's first reaction was to get to the bottom of this. This issue had been bothering him for all these years. He had never understood what he had done back then, to cause Fu Chengxi to leave for good right away. Meanwhile inside, the few of them hurried over as they felt something amiss. Upon seeing Fu Chengxi at the door, Gu Jingze was shocked as well. Chengxi. Gu Jingze took a few steps over. Fu Chengxi did not imagine that they would all be around. They were so rich and had all the luxurious houses. Why would they come to a hotel together? Although it was a 7-star rated hotel and extremely costly, they didn't seem to care. Chapter 1462 Fu Chengxi said she deeply regrets. You all. Fu Chengxi panicked for a moment. Then, she turned around to run away. However, this time, Lu Baiken had already gotten a hold on her. Don't go. If you don't make yourself clear, don't think about leaving this place. Gu Jingze paused. She turned back to make a face at Boss Shu and the rest. A few of them understood and quickly left. When it was just the two of them left in the room, Fu Chengxi had no choice but to face him. She had never thought that she would meet him again in her lifetime. Perhaps she longed to in her heart. After all, after leaving, the men she came across were not as great or brilliant as Lu Baiken. Needless to say, family status or in looks as well. It was then that she realized it was painful. She knew that losing Lu Baiken would mean that she would never meet a man as great as he was in her life again. Lu Baiken looked at her. Why exactly did you disappear suddenly? What are you doing now? Have you always been in B City? Then why didn't you appear? Fu Chengxi could only lower her head, not knowing what to say. She was of course, not in B City. Previously, the Lu family had given her family so much money. Her family quickly bought a villa in the south. After moving in, her parents had been splurging recklessly. In just these few years, all the money had been spent. The villa had been lost to her father's gambling ways. Her mother was infuriated, but due to her age, she did not want to make a move, and so, she did not divorce him. Their family could only return to B City to continue to make a living. She got into a third-grade university and had to work part-time in order to make ends meet. Seeing Lu Baiken made her feel unjustified beyond words. She wondered why she was so unlucky to have such parents. She could not find any words to say but just held onto her face and started crying badly. Lu Baiken frowned as he looked at the situation. What happened exactly? Chengxi, tell me. Fu Chengxi looked up. A few years ago your father came to look for me. She spoke halfway without the mention of money. Lu Baiken understood right away. He went to look for you and so you left. Yes. Great, what a great father. Lu Baiken had been wondering why Fu Chengxi left when he had done nothing. This time, he finally understood. It turned out to be the doing of his family. After a while, Lu Baiken brought Fu Chengxi along and headed downstairs. The group of them were waiting at the door. Lu Baiken filled them in and the group of them understood as well. Gu Jingze looked at Fu Chengxi. You should have told us back then. Also, you should have stayed in touch with me after you left. Why did you have to cut us all off? Fu Chengxi went red in the face. I didn't have the courage to face you. Gu Jingze did not say anything. She looked at the two of them and smiled. Then let's go. It's too late now. We can always talk again. Lu Baikan said, then I'll take Chengxi back. Fu Chengxi felt embarrassed, but for the first time in years, there was joy on her face. The next day, Lu Baikan brought Fu Chengxi to arrive at school together. Gu Jingze said, you're in university too, right? Fu Chengxi was embarrassed to say. She lowered her head and said, actually, I'm nearby. If not, she would not be working part-time here. This was the city of universities. There were many schools, but they were all in the majestic Q University, and yet I'm in a normal university. Ah, B college. No, it's the third-tier college. The group of them blinked. They had never heard of. Fu Chengxi said in embarrassment, that's third-tier school. I'm not that good at studying like you all are. I'm satisfied enough that I was able to get accepted. It was the last chance for her. Previously, she had no mood to study. If not, she should not have a problem getting into a second-tier school. Back then, she had not much interest in this matter. Now that she had seen that they were all in Q University, she really hated herself for not studying well, and it led to where she was. Such an embarrassment. Gu Jingze said, it's good that it's nearby. Gu Jingze was not an enthusiastic person. Having not met for a few years, there was no way that she would be as intimate as in the past. Moreover, ever since Fu Chengxi got together with Lu Baikan, she had also made a mental note to distance herself. Gu Jingze hid her thoughts carefully. She also knew that she would make the first move to tell anyone anything, so she could only let things take its natural course. Anyway, she could still do a lot of things. Her life was not like any ordinary girl who only had romance in her life. The few of them had lunch together at noon. They went to their classes later in the afternoon. Her roommates went over to ask Gu Jingze, what's happening? Who was the girl with you guys at lunch? Gu Jingze said, oh, it's Lu Baikan's girlfriend. This was nothing to hide. Gu Jingze said honestly. Her roommates were very confused. No way, that girl's such a failure. Has young Master Lu lost his mind? Gu Jingze smiled. How can it be? They were together in the past. But now that some stuff has been cleared, she's just back again. The few of them could not believe it. It's still not possible. With you around, how can he have eyes for others? Please, he actually hates me. We bicker all the time. Oh, we've always thought that you guys were just bantering. Don't be silly. If we have a heated argument, we would get physical. But we still think that you guys are very matching. You guys are like one person when you're together. Then you guys thought wrong. Gu Jingze said nonchalantly. He doesn't like my kind. What type does he like? Gu Jingze looked up at them with a face that expressed it was an unnecessary question. Just then, they realized, oh yes, there was nothing much to be asked. They could just take a look at Lu Baikan's girlfriend, and they would know. Later, Fu Chengxi joined them again. However, because they went to different schools, she often came over when lessons ended. Fu Chengxi would bring something for Gu Jingze to eat every time. Gu Jingze smiled and said, you don't have to be so polite, bringing me food every time. Fu Chengxi smiled and said, we're friends. Also, I want to thank you for all these years. Thank me for what? When I left, you helped me to talk to Lu Baikan. Gu Jingze chuckled, it's because you requested me to do so and I had promised you. But don't make any requests to me the next time. Lu Baikan is very scary when he's pissed. There won't be a next time. Really, I'm already in deep regret now. Gu Jingze smiled and said nothing. The school soon organized a debate club. For the sake of entering into the running for chairman for the students' committee, Gu Jingze had also joined the debate club. It was not easy to enter Q University's debate club. Their debates were not a plaything like other universities. They had taken part in many international competitions and was extremely well known in and out of the country. Chapter 1463. Lu Baikan said he had no hold over her. It was not an easy thing to debate. They had to do a lot of research on a debate topic. Gu Jingze started gathering resources from everywhere and the group helped her as a way of encouragement. Lu Baikan looked at Gu Jingze, speechless. Why do we all have to be at the library just because you're entering the debate? Gu Jingze said, because I want to enter the debate and all of you are my friends. I need your help. If you don't help out, I'll be very upset. Once I'm upset, I'll start hitting people. Gu Jingze spoke and immediately hit his face lightly. Hey, Gu Jingze. You can hit me, but not my face. What are you doing? Gu Jingze looked at him with a look that said, what can you do about it? Yes. Lu Baikan had no hold over her. To be honest, not only was he unable to have a hold over her, he was subjected to her bullying as well. He did not know why either. Lu Baiken could not have a hold over her. She was bad-tempered but strong. For no rhyme or reason, she would hit him. If it was somebody else, that person would be dead. But it was her and he could not take any action against her. It could only be said that they had a very good relationship. Being friends for many years, they were too familiar with each other. Boss Shu laughed bitterly and asked, "Then would there be any reward for us?" "No." Gu Jingyan looked sideways at him. "Why, do you want to protest too?" "No, no, the almighty Miss Gu. Tell us, why do you want to torture yourself voluntarily? Why not get your maids to help you research?" Little Q added on, "That's right. Let your caretaker get people to search for whatever information you want. The whole world would help you to look, no matter how secluded it is. Get lost. So much gibberish from you." Gu Jingyan knocked each of them and asked, "Then what's the point? I still have to take you guys along for self-improvement. See, your knowledge would improve once you finish researching. Haha, I feel like you don't want to live and want to drag us down with you." That's right, Boss Shu, you've finally reached enlightenment." Everyone looked at Gu Jingyan with resentment. Gu Jingyan said, all right. I'll give a treat if I can be the first." "Good, we want the most expensive. We want to go overseas. Don't deceive us." Actually, it was not that dull when everyone worked together. It would be frustrating if Gu Jingyan worked alone in the library. All the fighting made gathering information faster. Soon, it was the first round of the qualifiers. It was the first time Gu Jingyan was participating. Seeing how formal it was, she could not help but be solemn as well. It would be broadcasted on television throughout the entire country. The reporters had all arrived. X University was the opposing side. You could say that they had balloted the worst lot. Previously, X University came in third worldwide, first in the country. As X University's debate team had always been brilliant, many people felt daunted. The club president was very anxious and he had been there repeatedly telling everyone, "Relax guys, don't get pressured." But the one who was feeling the most pressured was him. Gu Jingyan arrived quickly. She sat at the back as everyone was still debating. "Who's that on the other side from Q University? I've never seen her before." "Oh yeah, she's very pretty." The students from the two universities met. The opposition's club president was an experienced debater who had a reputation to his name. Wherever he went, there would be a group of fangirls and reporters following. He looked at Gu Jingyan and smiled coldly. "Are you their new member?" The club president laughed. "That's right, what about it?" He pushed his glasses. "Are you sure she's not in the wrong place?" "What do you mean by that?" "The beauty pageant is at the television station opposite. This is a place for talent." "You." Gu Jingyan laughed from behind. "I'm sorry, is this because your debaters are usually in a bad shape that they have to take in a person like you? Our Q University has always been like this. We have both face value and power on the line." This meant that she was calling them ugly. The opposition got upset indefinitely. The club president on this side, however, laughed. It was the debate club after all and the lips were on the line. The opposition smiled and said, "The others on your team aren't anything as well. It's just your sudden appearance. I say, don't tell me you guys have started bending the rules because the debate club has gotten more popular." Gu Jingyan said, "Whether or not rules have been bent, you'll know in a while. Don't lose miserably when the time comes. We'll then know you're the ones who bent the rules and the people from X University you bent the rules for are just like that." After glancing at the girls behind, she had once again activated her wicked tongue. He glared at Gu Jingyan immediately, remembering this beautiful and brilliant mouth. "Fine, I'll see you on stage in a while." After he left, everyone surrounded Gu Jingyan and said, "That was good. Yeah, too awesome, what a relief. They're really too arrogant." The opposition looked at where Gu Jingyan was, feeling disgruntled. "Look, the reporters are all asking who that is. She just has a pretty face." The reporters wanted to get a scoop on special highlights in the industry and Gu Jingyan was so pretty. She was the prettiest in the debate society in recent years. A beautiful debater in the news was bound to gain attention. They would wait for a while. During the debate, they would take some pictures of her and interview her after the debate. Whether she won or lost, they did not have any hopes for that. After all, X University was brilliant. It was not just for a day or two. They had practically been on the throne for many years. There was no way they would get buried. Soon, everyone was on. The topic for debate was a tough one for the day. Which was more important, the economy or environmental protection? This was even a topic of debate between countries and they had to do it. As such, everyone had spent days researching this topic and finally it came to this day. X University's reputation was not for nothing. In a short while, they had already gained the upper hand. While at this side, there were signs of panic and loss of self-confidence. Until it was Gu Jingyan's turn. The crowd had already started cheering. Wow, I heard this is the school belle of Q University. Yes, exceptionally beautiful. And she's not just the school belle. I heard she's a straight A student, a scholar from B City who got into Q University. So formidable. She's undoubtedly the school belle. She looks like a star with a good presence. Wherever she stood, there would be an army. Smiling to the opposition's club president gulped. Too beautiful, like a vixen tugging the heartstrings. A smile that could make anyone do anything for her. The reporters started taking pictures frantically. At the back, Lu Baiken and the gang had come to spectate in a low profile. Seeing how everyone was cheering for her, Boss Shu could not help but say, gosh, a person like Gu Jingyan is definitely here to challenge others in knowledge and appearance. Yeah, look, everyone's talking about how pretty she is and how she insists on having a part in talent. Fu Chengxi had come as well. Observing from the side, she really felt that Gu Jingyan, who had become the hot topic, was an eyesore. Chapter 1464. The two were extremely in sync. However, when the group gathered to debate, the difference could be seen. Some people on one side couldn't keep up with the other side's topic. Then, there was a lag. Even more, in the end, a male debater looked like he was going to collapse from the comments. He stood there and became incoherent. The opposition started jeering more. What's wrong? Has your entire team gone weak with the addition of a beauty? Gu Jingyan looked at her own team leader. Let him take a rest first. Alright, the leader was also blushing from the comments. He could only sigh, he couldn't help not being as skillful. However, they were already disadvantaged, to begin with. Now, they were one man down. It looked like losing was inevitable. Their team quickly called for the doctor to come. The opposition was more arrogant. What's wrong, opponent? I think you seem rather lonely standing there. After all, you are a girl. You still need some strong guys to protect you. Why don't you join us? You see, we will never let you stand alone there. Was this a public challenge? Gu Jingyan looked at them coldly. However, she had indeed been driven to a corner with no way out of this. Just then, below. The more Lu Baiken listened, the more it didn't feel right. Boss Shu also asked, oh my, are they openly poaching people? Lu Baiken said, humph. Poaching people on my territory. They need to take a good look in the mirror first. Fu Chengxi watched as Lu Baiken stepped up to join them. Hey, Baiken, don't fight here, there are reporters here. However, Lu Baiken didn't look at anyone else. He kept his eyes fixed to the front as he walked up. Gu Jingyan tightened her lips and faced the opposition. Has the debate evolved to include personal attacks and sexism? Not at all, we're just looking out for the fairer sex. We don't need you to do that for our people. Just then, a voice rang from below. Everyone inevitably turned their heads. Lu Baiken already hopped up. Firstly, our people are not as weak as you. Secondly, even if our people are weak, we can protect ourselves. You wussies should protect your little throats first. You sound like your voices break easily. The people below watched. Who was this sharp-tongued fellow? But when they turned their heads and saw him, they couldn't help but exclaim. It was Lu Baiken. Everyone watched as Lu Baiken hopped up and walked with a swagger to the front. He kept his gaze on the few ex-university debaters and filled the atmosphere with his aura. Not caring about anything else, he was a second-generation rich playboy and he indeed did not have to look up to anyone. He had always kept his head up high. Everyone knew who Lu Baiken was. A little boss in B City who was also famous online. The ex-university students whispered among themselves for a long time. They were quite fearful of Lu Baiken, but they were ultimately leading debaters in the industry. They thought that Lu Baiken's silence meant that he was also holding back. The opposing team's leader stood up and said, what's wrong? Is Q University going to oppress us with power now? Lu Baiken puffed up his chest and looked at him. Humph, oppress you with power. His eyes grew fiercer. You guys think too highly of yourselves. That leader paused. If I really wanted to teach you a lesson, all I need is to spend a little money. I don't need to use my power. This expression of Lu Baiken's was really arrogant. It made the opponents grit their teeth hatefully, but they really could not do anything to him. The opposing leader said, I remember that you're not from the debate society. Why, can you simply pick a passerby to come up and play now? Lu Baiken stood up on stage. Yes, in Q University, debates are a trivial matter to us. There isn't even a need to specially train for it. We're not as focused at practicing spouting nonsense every day like you guys. We're all like this. If there's a lack of people, we can simply ask anyone around and find someone willing to take part in this debate competition. This time, I only didn't take part because Gu Jingyan was taking part in it. The opposition was caught a little off guard. Gu Jingyan looked at Lu Baiken. You are? Lu Baiken asked, aren't you short of one member? How about taking me? The leader looked and was in disbelief. He never prepared for a debate, much less took part in one. But Gu Jingyan immediately said, he can do it. It was him who helped me collate my information. The leader was still skeptical, but there was no other choice at a time like this. He could only nod, thinking that this was Lu Baiken after all. They could lose this battle but not the war. The leader said, yes, we will decide now. Lu Baiken will join temporarily to fill the vacancy. Why, are you scared that we'll take a random passerby to fill the vacancy? The opposition scoffed, looked at Lu Baiken, and then at the audience. The reporters were already looking at Q University wildly. All of a sudden, Q University's lineup was too strong. Although the debate had yet to conclude, the attention certainly shifted to them. After all, they had Lu Baiken and Gu Jingyan, a beautiful debater who was prettier than a celebrity. Alright, we won't waste any more time then. Gu Jingyan stood up and looked at Lu Baiken. Lu Baiken stood at the side and exchanged glances with her. His subtle smile was filled with confidence. Below, reporters gazed at the two and could not help feeling amazed. Look at them standing together. They're like a golden combination. Quick, take pictures. They feel too strong together. I haven't seen such a well-matched pairing in a long time. And after they began, their coordination was indeed extraordinary. Initially, the leader felt defeated. When Lu Baiken opened his mouth, he then pushed up his glasses and looked intensely. This genius, why hadn't he discovered him previously? Lu Baiken and Gu Jingyan's coordination could be said to be seamless. On the debate floor, coordination was very important. When one was speaking, the other already thought about loopholes in the opponent's speech and prepared for rebuttal. As for these two, they seemed to instantly know what the other party was going to say. With just one look, they already understood the other party's intentions. Coordination like that was really like that of old partners who have worked together countless times. They thought, but these two were also friends and probably had very good chemistry. That was why they had such an effect. The opposing team originally thought that Lu Baiken was merely showing off. Unexpectedly, this halfway debater, picked off the side of the road, actually surprised them. All of a sudden, they felt that they were unable to cope. Their consecutive wins just now turned into defeat after defeat. In the end, the opposition team wins. When the referee spoke those words, Q University's side was still in shock. Nobody expected the sudden turnaround for a seemingly losing team because of Lu Baiken's appearance. Instantly, the reporters couldn't wait to surround them. Young Master Lu, did you know Gu Jingyan previously? Chapter 1465. Both of them gained fame. You both have such good chemistry. What's your secret relationship? Lu Baiken and Gu Jingyan were trapped in the middle. She looked at the reporter, speechless. These people only cared about gossip no matter what they were interviewing about. Lu Baiken smiled. What kind of relationship do you think? With his statement, the entire scene got even more abuzz. Gu Jingyan elbowed him at the side. What relationship? Our relationship is arguing every day. For nothing, I would get scolded without a thought for me. It's a relationship whereby he's always against me. The reporter looked at her. Isn't this a relationship of bantering? Hey, why did everyone say that? Gu Jingyan quickly said, all right, we're just friends. Don't make blind guesses. We're just crazy friends. Friends. Everyone still looked forward to the two of them developing to being more than that. Lu Baiken followed along and laughed. Look at you guys. I've told you before that Gu Jingyan may look gentle and demure, but she's actually a tomboy. Gu Jingyan retorted, ha, you're the same, looking like sunshine but you're very gloomy internally. As she spoke, her elbow came over again. Lu Baiken said immediately, ouch, you see, she attacked me just like that. Look at this scar on my hand. It's left by her. Let's not talk about the body. You guys tell me, who would dare marry someone like this? Everyone started to laugh along. However, seeing both of them made them feel they were more compatible than ever. Below, Fu Chengxi's had already felt stuffed in her chest. However, she could only be here, smiling lightly as she watched on. She clenched her hands and asked herself why she did not go to the debate competition. However, she had no gift for this. After one debate competition, Gu Jingze and Liu Baikan had gained fame in an instant. They were highly searched on the internet, termed as a pretty debater who was with young Master Liu. Everyone was still suspicious if they had any relationship. Due to Liu Baikan's popularity, Gu Jingze's Weibo was flooded right away. Here, Gu Jingze had to admire the netizens' abilities. She did not have much interaction with Liu Baikan and yet everyone could still find her profile in a short while. She had very few followers and the name she used was atypical. But all because she was beautiful. This was made up without much thought, but now it was ridiculed by the netizens for half a day. The interactions between her and Liu Baikan were very simple. It was just Liu Baikan replying to her posts. She had sighed in a post, "I've nothing to do in the middle of the night and I went to see if any takeouts are still open for business. Somehow, I started to feel hungry as I browsed. Should I eat or not?" Liu Baikan replied with a sentence, "Come over to my place to eat." Gu Jingze replied, "I'm too lazy to move." Liu Baikan said, "I'll get someone to pick you up. Come quickly, I got beer and crayfish." "Alright, come and pick me up." The netizens were amazed when they saw that. Picking her up for supper in the middle of the night. Their relationship must be good. It looks like they're really close friends. Others were of similar situations, but as people read on, it made them feel that it was touching and that there was love. I couldn't tell that Liu Baikan would be so touching. Their interactions are very loving. Fu Chengxi was in front of her computer and looking at the screenshots that the netizens had gathered. Both of them usually talked like this. But why, when put on the internet, did the effect seem different? Was it because of the exaggeration made by the netizens? Or was it because Liu Baikan had gained even more popularity online that he looked different? Meanwhile, Gu Jingze was frustrated. Just as she arrived in school, she was surrounded. "Wow, look, Gu Jingze. We have more and more famous people in our school. She is prettier than a celebrity. She looks better in person. Ah, I'm blessed to be in the same school as Gu Jingze." Even if Gu Jingze had been surrounded by onlookers in the past, there was never a time like now with so many onlookers gawking at her brazenly. Liu Baikan had long gotten used to it and did not seem to have a problem with it. He walked over right away and did not care about the looks people gave him. "Let's have dinner together." "I'm not eating," Gu Jingze said. He still has the mood for meals. She would only have the mood to eat when these people stop staring at her. "Don't be like this. Why, are you not feeling well?" "If only I can feel good." Gu Jingze looked up and replied. In a moment, Liu Baikan saw curious eyes from everywhere. He frowned instantly. What's there to look at? Everyone had gotten used to Liu Baikan's domineering ways. They turned their heads away quickly. The crowd broke and Gu Jingze took a deep breath. At night, everyone gathered at Liu Baikan's place for games. As Gu Jingze ate, she watched Liu Baikan and the rest play video games. The moment he got online, a horde of onlookers would gather. Everyone could see the barrage during the battle. Fu Chengxi looked and said, "Baikan, you're so famous now." Boss Shu laughed. "That's right, when he played with Jingyan the other time, he gained lots of fame too. But Jingyan stopped playing after the debate." Fu Chengxi looked at Gu Jingyan. She smiled and said, "Jingyan, you can play the game too." Gu Jingyan replied, "I just do it for fun, didn't go into much research." Fu Chengxi did not say anything. Just then, little Q suddenly chirped in. "Oh gosh, there's a school league now. Our school's also within the school zone." "Is that so?" Now, the game manufacturers like to do some offline events. They would organize a league like this to gain attention. Come, let's form a team and participate." Boss Shu was naturally interested. "But we don't have enough people. I can find 2 more. Then, we'll have a big kill and we can attract many chicks." "Anything. Then let's do it." Liu Baikan was easygoing, so he only said one sentence. The school league was held at Q University. The school was the center of attention in the first place, being the best college in the country. With so many straight-A students, it was a wonder how it would turn out when it came to playing games. But facts have proven that numerous straight-A students from Q University were also very good at playing games. Needless to say, they would analyze when playing the games. Analyzing was more powerful than those who did not think. So there were plenty of experts here. Fu Chengxi looked and thought that she could not keep up with them in other areas, so this time, she had to. Thus, she dragged Gu Jingyan to play. In the past, Gu Jingyan had played occasionally using Little Q's account. This time, Fu Chengxi had dragged her to create an account so she could only resign to creating one. She made up a name at random. It was Nanny I'm Not Dead Yet. Fu Chengxi found it weird. She had created for herself, White Orchid Sky Flower, giving a feel of beauty when looking at it. The two of them entered the game and started playing from the rookie level. Gu Jingyan leveled up very quickly and played skillfully. Fu Chengxi could not do it and was constantly bullied in the game. Chapter 1466 Who Dares Touch Lu Baikon's Person? When Fu Chengxi played with Gu Jingyan, she frequently heard the other two going, "Jingyan, quick come and save me. Look, Jingyan, someone's coming to kill me. What should I do, Jingyan? I can't seem to move." Sometimes, Gu Jingyan would go over and find that it was just an operational issue. Sometimes a common problem, and sometimes it was just a mistake she made. However, Gu Jingyan did not play so rigidly. She would splurge money on areas she could. After all, the Gu family had no lack of money. Since Gu Jingyan was already spending the money, she would not leave Fu Chengxi to fall back on her own, including her share. And since Fu Chengxi also had Lu Baikon's aid, she had quite an amount of money which made them shot up to the rich men's list even though they've only played for a short while. Everyone started speculating, questioning the identity of the rich newcomer in their region. The game was worldwide popular. So for those who made it into the rich men's list meant that they had spent quite a sum of money. They had to buy rare characters and skin, and yet Gu Jingyan had already acquired them in a short span of time. She also immediately bought a ton of symbols and furnishings, just so she could unlock special items quickly. So, despite having a low-level account, the furnishing she had was already more comprehensive than some bigger accounts. Everyone looked and estimated the amount of money that this newcomer had spent, and they all rounded it up to about a few million. Spending millions in such a short time was not a small figure. All this money was not a small figure for Gu Jingyan. Since she was still a student, she did not have a hefty amount of pocket money. Most of the time, she had to ask for money from her second brother. Her second brother, Gu Jingze, had a lot of money in his hands, and that was because he had been working at the company for a long time already. Along with the fact that everyone in the family adored her, they would give her a generous amount every time she asked for money. Moreover, Gu Jingyan was a trustworthy person, and they know that she would not use her money for trouble. Hence, they felt that it was only natural if she would use the money to her enjoyment. However, most of her money came from Gu Jingze. Everyone was on the region's discussion board mentioning, there seem to be many rich newcomers in our region recently. And I think that rich person is a girl. The bio and display picture seem to indicate so. Who knows if it's a she-male? You'll know when you meet her. Though Fu Chengxi had spent quite a sum of money, she did not spend as much as Gu Jingyan did. Hence, she was not as famous as Gu Jingyan. The players also realized that Gu Jingyan was very violent. She also had brilliant tactics that in a short while, she rose the rank and sat on the top. Hence, they paid more attention to her. The debate on her being a she-male got more riled up. This day, someone immediately harassed her. "Hey, little girl, come, let's play a game. Little brother will fly with you." Gu Jingyan blinked and saw that this player was also from the rich men's list and also on the PK scoreboard. It looked like he was someone well-known in the region. The username was, "Just Do It." Gu Jingyan replied, "No thanks. I like to play on my own. Don't be like this. Come on, let's play together." "No, thanks. Little brother won't be happy if you continue being like this." Gu Jingyan could not be bothered with him. Yet, he kicked the nose on the face and immediately went to the public region network and made a public shout-out. "Brothers, I want to welcome our region's new goddess, Nanny I'm Not Dead Yet. Everyone, please give her a warm welcome." When they announced it, they highlighted it for an entire day. Gu Jingyan got so annoyed that she did not want to play the game anymore and disconnected. Fu Chengxi did not expect that Gu Jingyan would be so famous in this game. She looked at Gu Jingyan and consoled her, "These people are unreasonable. Anyway, they're the only people you see online and not frequently. Treat it as you didn't see anything." Gu Jingyan said, "I just think I've had enough of such shameless people. Forget it, it's only a game, anyway. I won't see anything if I don't go online." For a few days, Lu Baikon and the rest played the game furiously, preparing for the school league that they were taking part in. A team from the previous battle was around too, and they seemed quite skilled since little Q had taken the opportunity to train them. Since they've already registered, they could not afford to embarrass themselves. So, they did not take notice of all this news for a moment. At night, Lu Baiken went online to look and discovered this matter. Seeing how there was a shout-out that welcomed, "Nanny, I'm not dead yet," and knowing that username was Gu Jingze's, Lu Baiken's face darkened. Little Q could not take it anymore at the side. What does this mean? Marry Jingyan, this guy must be mad. Does he think we're all dead? The audacity to say he wants to marry her. Precisely, the almighty fourth young mistress Gu is not someone he can afford to marry. Moreover, Gu Jingyan is ours. Doesn't he know that? Maybe he doesn't know. Gu Jingyan is still a small account and hasn't joined any teams. She didn't even join us. Maybe they don't know how we're connected with Gu Jingyan. If not, this guy wouldn't be so arrogant. Lu Baiken looked. Everyone was talking about this on the public region server because of this news. That's just do it. Looks like he's some coal boss, and he's very showy. He went after so many girls and spent a lot on them. So he's the front runner on the board. This time, he shouldn't be able to go after the nanny. The nanny has all the money. Who knows if the nanny has been relying on men's money or not. Our region hasn't had such commotion in a long time. Quick, do the nanny. Do the nanny, live up to your name. Damn, these people were seriously. They even dared to plot against his people. Boss Shu asked, how now, Baiken? It was seen below. Lu Baiken had already done a shout-out. I've only been gone for a day and someone climbed onto my roof. Who's just do it? I'll make him become never do it. The moment this sentence got out, the public region network exploded. Me, you must be Lu Baiken. Lu Baiken's username in the game was Annihilate the Stars Chen. Everyone knew this was Lu Baiken's moniker because he had accidentally revealed it on Weibo once. So, it became famous in a short while. The local region all pretty much guessed that this guy, who was on both the rich men's board and the first ranked on the PK board, could only be one person. And that was Lu Baiken. Soon, discussions started again. No way, Lu Baiken has taken an interest in the nanny. This is the guy who's just do it. Haha, let him be impotent. Now this just do it is going to wilt for daring to call out Lu Baiken. Gu Jingyan had not realized all this was happening. Feeling frustrated, she had no mood for the game. Boss Shu immediately called her and informed her. Quick, look, it's chaos in the game. Gu Jingyan went to look, and people immediately realized she was online. Here comes the leading female. The nanny's online. Quick, have a look, nanny. Young Master Lu is fighting for you. Gu Jingyan was dumbfounded. What was this all about? Chapter 1467 But Gu Jingyan isn't your girlfriend. Gu Jingyan understood immediately after sweeping her gaze across the people below. She hastily looked for Lu Baiken in the game. What are you doing? Lu Baiken said, I'm helping you to vent out your anger. No need, I'll go offline for a few days and see how he continues causing trouble. But Lu Baiken refused to listen. Why does one of my people have to avoid him? You wait for a moment. Before Gu Jingyan could type her next sentence asking him what he was going to do, Lu Baiken had already sent out something. In the future, I'll give anyone who hits just do it $1,000. No matter how you do it, kill him when you see him. After you kill him, take a screenshot, send it to me, and collect your money from me immediately. I'll give $1 million for his head for the entire month. Damn, his manner was so imposing. Seeing this, everyone thought that they would have a lot of fun playing the game in the future. Whether they were going to end up in the rankings, they would simply attack the moment they saw just do it. Several people surrounded him to kill him. They did not care whether they would win or lose, but they would kill him whenever he was around. Killing him would give them money, anyway. This time, Just Do It was attacked to the point where his temper was immediately extinguished. What the hell, how can you do this? Lu Baiken, I was merely joking. Did you have to spend so much money to attack me? Just Do It asked in disbelief. But Lu Baiken ignored him completely. Indeed, he was no longer having any fun playing. The moment he came online, he was under attack. Who could continue playing? So, he immediately turned listless and vanished without a trace. Gu Jingyan finally understood and was at a loss for words for a moment. She then said to Lu Baiken, do you have to spend so much money on this scum? Lu Baiken said, what's the problem? I can't possibly spend that much, anyway. After dying a few times, he would definitely lose the will to play. I spent only a few tens of thousands. Alright. But that was money spent, too. She still felt that it was not necessary. But this time, there was nothing Gu Jingyan could say anymore. He had already spent the money. And everyone had done it for her as well. Lu Baikan said, the two of you should stop playing on your own too. If you come online, we will play with you. Come on, join our team. We'll see who still dares to bully you guys when you're with us. Gu Jingyan still did not understand and merely said, a few days ago, another team asked me to join them. If not for this incident, I would have joined. What team? They call themselves Ferocious National Soldiers or something. Haha, why would you join their team? Come on, join ours. Their team seems to have quite many people, so I wanted to take a look, Gu Jingyan said. But since Lu Baikan already had a team, she could join his. When Gu Jingyan saw Lu Baikan's invitation, she immediately clicked the confirmation button. Just like that, she joined the team. She saw that the message stated that their team was the O team. What kind of name was that? It was just one alphabet. She also saw that there were very few people on the team. Wow, there are so few people in your team. Her disdainful tone of voice did not go unnoticed by Lu Baikan. Lu Baikan chuckled and said, why don't you look at the rankings? See how many of the people there belong to our team. Gu Jingyan rarely paid much attention to the rankings. But she immediately opened the rankings page to look. She realized that sure enough, a few of the people at the top of the entire ranking belonged to his team. Lu Baikan said, there are very few people because I refuse to let ordinary people join the team even if they want to. Gu Jingyan curled her lip. How arrogant. Both stopped chatting afterward, but Lu Baikan still proceeded to pull Fu Chengxi into the team, which made the latter quite happy. She saw the people in the public space say, look, 2 people joined Lu Baikan's team. Isn't it just Nanny? As expected, Nanny is a friend of Lu Baikan's. Then, who's the other person? I don't know. But she's also on the list of rich people. It looks like they know each other. Someone had discovered something and said bluntly, is it possible that one of them is Gu Jingyan, the person rumored with Lu Baikan? People online say that they're friends. These people were so good at connecting the dots. Gu Jingyan did not bother about all this and went offline. After a few days, the campus tournament began. Gu Jingyan and Fu Chengxi did not attend. Lu Baikan and the others had pulled in some other people on the team to form a group. Naturally, they won without fail in the initial rounds. They only started playing more seriously in the regional competition. At this moment, competitions as such had just started becoming popular, so many people came to watch. Those who were around stayed mainly to watch the game, especially those who also played the game. But for those who did not play it, they stayed to look at the handsome guys around. Especially this time, with Lu Baikan's participation, many more people came to watch. In no time, people filled the event venue. Everyone's attitude when watching the event did not differ from watching a basketball tournament. All of them were cheering and shouting while looking at the people on the large screen. Fu Chengxi was still a little nervous. She sat there and said, looks like the other team is quite impressive. Gu Jingyan said, Lu Baikan will be fine. Don't worry. Fu Chengxi nodded. She clenched her fists and continued watching. Sure enough, the opposing team was no match for Lu Baikan's team at all. They were at an advantage when they started. Their resources and everything else got stolen. They completely could not progress. But no one expected that the opposing team had come up with a plan a long time ago. Someone saw Gu Jingyan and Fu Chengxi down below and immediately approached them. Hey, do the two of you want anything to drink? Gu Jingyan said, no. After she had glanced at the boy and saw that she did not know him, Gu Jingyan definitely would not start a conversation. But Fu Chengxi was different. She still felt awkward as she rejected him and said coolly, no need, thank you. So, that person moved even closer to Fu Chengxi. Don't be like this. Hey, I don't think you're from our school, right? Fu Chengxi turned red in the face. Gu Jingyan found it strange. In the past, no one in school was unaware of the relationship among the few of them and would not try to approach them for no reason. But this person was trying to cotton up to them on purpose. Gu Jingyan said, Chengxi, come on. Let's go over there. Oh, sure. Fu Chengxi even gave him a friendly nod. She felt it strange that Gu Jingyan was so hesitant to speak to him. Did she not like chatting with ordinary people because she was a rich young lady? With this thought in mind, Fu Chengxi walked over to her. Seeing this, that person immediately followed them too. This time, he intentionally even went to Gu Jingyan's side. Why, Do you look down on me that much? They heard that Gu Jingze was Lu Baikon's girlfriend, so they dared not touch her directly. But Gu Jingze was different. She was his friend, so he probably would not be that vicious. When his face suddenly leaned in close, Gu Jingze said furiously, "What are you doing?" What surprised her was that Lu Baikon, who was playing the game, immediately got down. "What are you doing? Why the hell are you touching her? You moved so close to her." The moment he started shouting, everyone present looked over. Seeing this, Gu Jingye thought to herself, this Lu Baikon. Was he not going to continue playing? Gu Jingye quickly stood up as well. "Lu Baikon, what are you doing?" Everyone watched as Lu Baikon aggressively approached them. The person who stood in front of Gu Jingye immediately said, "What do you mean by this? She's not your woman, what are you being so anxious for? If she's not your friend, does that mean you want both of them to be your partners?" Chapter 1468. Gu Jingye was lifted and thrown out. This sentence immediately rubbed Lu Baikon the wrong way. No one saw clearly what Lu Baikon did, but they did see a fist fly towards the boy, hitting him directly onto the ground. With a noise of pain, his nose and mouth both bled. All the spectators frantically took a few steps backward to avoid getting involved. As he covered his nose and face, he stood up, looked at Lu Baikon, and cursed, "You Lu Baikon, why did you hit me? Ha, this foul mouth of yours. Did you eat something filthy at home and came out without brushing your teeth? It's so foul, it deserves a beating." The moment he ended his sentence, Lu Baikon still wanted to attack him again. The boy was so frightened that he kept moving backward. He was even shouting, "Lu Baikon, what are you doing? Are you trying to kill me? Someone, come and save me." With this shout, the atmosphere immediately became even more heated. Everyone collectively looked at Lu Baikon. Lu Baikon raised his fist in an even more threatening manner. "Sure, since you dared to come, see if I dare to hit you. Such disgraceful words can come out of your mouth. It's no loss to me even if I beat you to death." Thereafter, the boy immediately started shouting, You can't be so arrogant just because you're Lu Baikon and your family is rich. How can you do this? Does the law exist? Can you kill someone just because you're wealthy?" The surrounding people did not know what had happened. They only heard him shouting and started discussing with uncertainty. "Lu Baikon is way too much. He's rich, what can you do about him? He's so arrogant, the guy is already begging for mercy, and yet he still wants to beat him. And right in front of so many people." Everyone looked on and genuinely felt that Lu Baikon went overboard. Gu Jingye watched from the side. She saw the menacing expression on Lu Baikon's face, which looked as if he was about to pounce on him and hit him. She hastily pulled Lu Baikon. "All right, it's enough to teach him a bit of a lesson." Lu Baikon shrugged off Gu Jingye's hand. His expression worsened even more while the surrounding people continued to gossip. "Leave me alone, let me beat this piece of garbage to death." "Don't." Gu Jingye looked at the expression on Lu Baikon's face. He was genuinely exerting a lot of force. She was worried that he would cause more trouble. This Lu Baikon had always been impulsive. He did not care about anything else and acted according to his whims. No one could do anything if something went wrong. She quickly hugged Lu Baikon around his waist. Seeing the situation, the surrounding people backed away slightly out of fear. "Lu Baikon, don't move. You let go." "I'm not letting go. If you keep causing trouble, I'm going to knock you out." Lu Baikon lowered his head to look at her. "What do you mean I'm causing trouble? Didn't you hear the nonsense he said?" "I know, but let's forget about it for now. You're still competing." Gu Jingye felt that something was amiss. She looked up again. No matter how much trouble was happening down there, and even when there were still 5 people working together on the opposing side, no one cared. However, their side was already a little disorganized. As he heard this, Lu Baikon looked up. "You guys continue. Don't bother about me. I've already laid the foundations in the beginning. If you can't win, don't meet me again." Old Shu initially wanted to come down, but he hastily sat back down upon hearing this. Gu Jingye helplessly looked at him. "Listen to me, don't kick up a fuss, alright?" "No way, I won't buy that. I must beat him up and turn him inside out. I'll show him what arrogance is." "Don't." Gu Jingye felt very uncomfortable when she saw everyone around them look at Lu Baikon like this. All else aside, they looked as if they thought that Lu Baikon was a second-generation tycoon who bullied others with his power. It was as if he was someone who was too arrogant and recklessly hit others. He was a good-for-nothing rich kid who had no rationality. It made Gu Jingye very unhappy. Lu Baikon was not such a person. How could they think this way of Lu Baikon? But they would not believe her, even if she said this, and would only believe what they saw. Lu Baiken had to be blamed for simply being too rash. He did not care what outsiders thought, but on the other side, she cared. She hugged him without budging. Don't go. You're not allowed to go. Yu Jingyan, let go of me. I refuse to let go. Unless you want to go with me now. I told you to let go. Did you hear me? No way. Lu Baiken, come home with me immediately. Don't say anything else. Gu Jingyan looked at him in a domineering manner. Lu Baiken said, hey, you're going against me. You're threatening me right now. Gu Jingyan placed her hands on her hips. Why, can't I threaten you? Come with me. You don't have to lay a hand on a piece of garbage like him. Don't you find it dirty? Lu Baiken said, ha. Yours truly likes to do things himself. Are you dumb? Gu Jingyan was so anxious that she was hopping about. Lu Baiken said, who are you talking about? He was doing it for her sake, but she was stopping him. So what if he hit him? He was asking for a beating. But Gu Jingyan simply would not allow it. Leave. Do I even need your supervision? Lu Baiken also started hardening his stance. What do you mean? What I mean is, this matter concerns me now. This joker scolded me, so I want to teach him a lesson. You move aside. Ha, I won't let that happen. I simply won't let you hit him. What are you going to do about it? In that case, don't blame me for counting you in. Why, you want to hit me too? Lu Baiken closed in on her, and she moved forward, not willing to be outdone. Initially, the incident involved Lu Baiken hitting someone. But now, it became an argument between the two of them instead. The spectators could not help but be puzzled. What did these two people want to do? Weren't they in this together? Why did they even start arguing? Lu Baiken stood in front of her in an overbearing manner and looked down at Gu Jingyan. Because he was a grown man, Lu Baiken was much taller than Gu Jingyan when he stood up. But Gu Jingyan's presence did not pale at all compared to Lu Baiken's. Everyone wondered if Lu Baiken was going to hit a woman. However, Gu Jingyan had been too impatient with her words. Lu Baiken was still a pampered rich son with a poor temper. Although he was friends with Gu Jingyan, it did not mean they would not have a falling out. Were they falling out now? Everyone was wondering if Lu Baiken would hit Gu Jingyan as well. Lu Baiken lifted Gu Jingyan in one swift motion. Before Gu Jingyan could react, she felt Lu Baiken flip her over. In the next instant, she was on Lu Baiken's shoulder. You Lu Baiken, what are you doing? Gu Jingyan started slapping his shoulder. She struggled, kicking and hitting him. But Lu Baiken ignored her and walked out, carrying her just like that. Initially, everyone wanted to see Lu Baiken hit someone. But they didn't expect to see such a scene. Lu Baiken placed her into the car. He tossed her right inside and locked the door. After he had locked her in his car, Gu Jingyan hit the car window and shouted. Lu Baiken, have you gone mad? How dare you treat me this way? You wait. Lu Baiken scoffed and shoved the car keys into his pocket. It was such an expensive car, so the soundproofing was absolutely the best. No matter how Gu Jingyan shouted, he could not hear her. Gu Jingyan could not tamp down her anger. She furiously thought to herself that he would be the first person she would take to task once she was out. He had gone overboard. Chapter 1469. Why exactly did Gu Jingyan fight with him? At the same time, over at Lu Baiken's, his team pretty much defeated their opponent. Although they had a harder time towards the end of the game because of Lu Baiken's sudden departure. Still, the gap that Lu Baiken created at the start was far off. But because of the brief fuss that Lu Baiken caused down below, no one saw that the team on stage already won. Old Shu dropped his mouse. Good gracious, we finally won. Little Q also heaved a sigh of relief. Just then, they looked up only to see that there was chaos down below. What was happening? Upon closer look, everyone was currently discussing. I can't believe Gu Jingyan dared to offend Lu Baiken. See, Lu Baiken tossed her into the car. Exactly, no matter how good their relationship is, he is the first young master. He's different and is worthy of respect. How could she stop him in front of so many people? Lu Baiken is way too temperamental, too. We should stay away from him in the future. Old Shu and Little Q looked at each other. Lu Baiken threw Gu Jingyan into the car. Given Gu Jingyan's personality, wouldn't she go mad with anger? How dare he? Their thoughts were the opposite of all the other outsiders. What did they mean by how dare Gu Jingyan offend Lu Baiken? In the entire C Nation, there was simply no one whom Gu Jingyan dared not offend. Fortunately, they won the game. Everyone was thinking of going out for a celebration, but after Gu Jingyan went out and left, she ignored everyone else and did not bother with Lu Baiken either. It seemed that she was genuinely angry. Old Shu had no choice but to call others out for a meal. When they reached the restaurant, Old Shu said, "Baiken, you made a mistake in this matter. Jingyan was doing it for your own good, too. It's bad for your reputation to fight in front of so many people." Lu Baiken had been fiddling with his chopsticks in a show of nonchalance. Upon hearing him say this, he looked up and said, "Hey, are you taking her side?" For my own good. What? For my own good? She simply insists on opposing me. Tell me, what do I do that she doesn't interfere with? What do I do that she doesn't oppose? And you say it's for my own good. It was impossible to coax him. Lu Baiken was not really in the mood to celebrate, to begin with. He had eaten 2 mouthfuls before he simply said that he was not in the mood and then left. Seeing this, Fu Chengxi had no choice but to go after him. Old Shu and Little Q crossed their arms over their chests. There was no hope for these two people. Gu Jingyan returned to the dorms. The people in the dorm were initially discussing what they had witnessed today, but they hastily shut their mouths when she sauntered in. But they felt incomparably curious as they looked at the person involved. At last, someone could not control herself, and so asked. "Jingyan, what happened? Why did you and young Master Lu fight?" "Precisely. Young Master Lu can't be angry, right? You're too much. Even if you're on good terms with young Master Lu, you can't embarrass him to his face." "But young Master Lu went overboard, too. Why did he lock you inside the car? How did you guys start fighting? We were outside and didn't see it clearly." In reality, everyone was dying of curiosity. But no one had described in detail what exactly caused such a fierce argument. Gu Jingyan looked up. Seeing that the others were thinking so much, she said in disbelief, "Wasn't it just an argument? Nothing happened, we just fought. What is everyone else saying about us?" One of her dorm mates said enthusiastically, "They said that someone bullied young Master Lu's girlfriend. Young Master Lu was so angry that he beat that person up. But they also said that you were the one who got into a fight with his girlfriend, so he wanted to beat you up. They even said that you and that guy were in a relationship. Young Master Lu was so angry that he wanted to beat that guy up. You insisted on stopping him, so you guys started fighting. What were they talking about?" Gu Jingyan said, "Nothing like that happened. Firstly, we didn't get into a fight at all. Secondly, I went over to stop them from quarreling. What's it got to do with me? Seriously." Everyone looked at each other, speechless. "So, all these rumors are false?" Gu Jingyan said, "Of course. I wonder why they spread such rumors." They shrugged and said, "Although you're not involved in all these matters, there are rumors about you everywhere." "Exactly. It's all because you're too beautiful. You're not just beautiful, your academic results are so good too. Wherever you, young Master Lu, and the others go together, people will stare at you guys. Because you guys are such prominent figures in school." Gu Jingyan shook her head. Everyone has nothing better to do. The fact that Gu Jingyan and Lu Baiken fought had spread throughout the entire school. The next day, Gu Jingyan ate with Old Shu and the others. Lu Baiken, on the other hand, was so angry that he did not come to school. The two of them even coaxed Gu Jingyan, "All right. Each of you should say a sentence less or take one step back each. I'm telling you, if you say something to him, I guarantee that his anger will immediately disappear. That's the kind of person he is." Gu Jingyan scoffed. "Forget it. I'm not interested. Hey, you. It's up to him whether or not he talks to me. I don't have to talk to him either, right? I still have you guys. It can't be that without him, I will die from keeping everything bottled up inside." These two people, in any case, in summary, no one will take the first step. Old Shu said, "We'll see when you guys can keep this up." The people around them found it strange when they saw Old Shu and the others still hanging out with Gu Jingyan. Initially, they thought that no one would dare to interact with Gu Jingyan since she had offended young Master Lu. But they did not expect these people to continue being on such good terms with Gu Jingyan. Initially, they thought that they would leave with young Master Lu. They could not tell that they were good friends with Gu Jingyan. Just like that, the two of them continued about their own business, treating the other person as non-existent. Fortunately, the school was large, so they would not see each other for a long time if they did not want to. However, because Lu Baiken and the others had become the school champions, they were immediately recommended to participate in a competition for the entire B city. Rumors started spreading online, and it said that Lu Baiken would participate in a match. Everyone's interest in this match increased. Some people were even more surprised, saying, "I didn't expect young Master Lu to be so impressive." Young Master Lu is a god-level figure. Lu Baiken felt extremely proud as he looked at the praises he received online. Although he had received many compliments over the years, those were all because he was Lu Baiken. But this was the only matter that the admiration was because he played well. Of course, Fu Chengxi did not quite understand. She smiled and said, "Look at you. You're like a child, you receive praises for playing games and you're still so happy." "Well, you don't understand." Lu Baiken continued, "This is what they call a sense of accomplishment. But you won't understand it either. Like me, Gu Jingze, we." He had suddenly mentioned that damned person. He spat before saying, "Anyway, this is something we did on our own. It has nothing to do with our families, that's why we feel a larger sense of accomplishment." Fu Chengxi's expression darkened. Yes, she would not understand. Because she was not a rich young lady. Chapter 1472 People dead determined to save face. But they were better off not arguing. Fu Chengxi felt that after Gu Jingze had argued with Lu Baiken mentioned Gu Jingze every day instead. Although he only mentioned her in passing, it always sounded strange. Meanwhile, the teacher called Gu Jingze to the office. The teacher said, "This time, you being elected as the chairperson of the student union is set in stone." "Really? Thank you, teacher." The teacher quite liked Gu Jingze. After all, she was good in her studies and everything else. She was multi-talented and was so beautiful too. The key thing was that she was not at all anxious, unlike some other girls who were more troublesome just because they were a bit more beautiful than the rest. They had many boyfriends too and rendered others speechless. But Gu Jingze was a person who was beautiful but never relied on her looks. "Well, recently, what happened between you and Lu Baiken?" "Teacher, this is a private matter. It probably won't affect all this, right? We're just friends who argued." Although she was still angry even after the argument had ended. She could not believe that jerk dared to throw her into the car. The teacher said, "It would be fine if it were anyone else. But this is Lu Baiken, it's not like you don't know how much influence he has. He's an internet celebrity now. Do you know what an internet celebrity is? It means that everyone knows him, so he's about the same as a celebrity." Gu Jingze still felt unhappy thinking about it. It was all because he did not keep a low profile and was way too flashy a person. The teacher said, "On top of that, given his power." Ultimately, the school worried about how he would be displeased if Gu Jingze took the chairperson position of the student union, given that he had an extensive amount of power. The teacher could tell from Gu Jingze's expression that she was unhappy, so she hastily said, "The school's way of thinking is a bit more rigid, so I thought up a solution for you." "What?" "There will be an exchange taking place in S City soon. You should attend it. It will take around 2 weeks. By the time you return, the disturbance would have already passed too." Fantastic. After a quarrel, she was being chased away to S City to avoid trouble. Gu Jingze nodded her head. Anyway, it did not matter to her where she went. She would lie low if they told her to. The teacher frantically said, "I knew you were the most obedient." Q University differed from other universities. The teachers also dared not offend these influential students who excelled academically. What if they became successful in the future? Most of the students at Q University were going to become prominent figures in the future. Gu Jingze made some preparations and went to S City without telling anyone. However, because the school had arranged for her to take an economy class, it would make her family worried and would arrange for her to take the first class. In reality, she had not taken an economy class before and somehow wanted to try it. She was worried that after telling her family, they would dispatch a plane for her straight away. So, she had no choice but to quickly buy a first-class ticket headed for S City. She was staying at the other party's school for the exchange, and they allocated each person a single room. She also planned to look around, for it had been a long time since she last visited S City. Meanwhile, all of Lu Baiken's attention was focused on the match. But in the gaps between his training, Old Shu said, "Did you hear? Gu Jingze left." Lu Baiken immediately looked up. "What? She went to S City University." Lu Baiken stood up instantly. "What is she doing? Did she run away?" "Ha, seriously, she ran just because she couldn't beat me. She's fantastic. I did nothing to her either. She has such a bad temper, and yet she left just like that. Does she not want any of us to be her friend anymore?" Upon seeing Lu Baiken get so agitated, Old Shu and Little Q were about to die of laughter. Lu Baiken scowled when he saw the two of them laughing loudly while clutching their stomachs. "What are you guys doing?" Old Shu said, "Look at how shocked you are. She went for an exchange. She'll be back in 2 weeks." Lu Baiken sat down, his face completely black. Old Shu said, "I knew it. You're just stubborn. I'll see if you regret it if she refuses to interact with you at all after this." Regret? He would not regret it. Why would he regret it? Someone like her would never give in for the life of her. He had never met someone so stubborn. Would it kill her to say some pleasant words to him? He was always the one giving in. He glanced at the two of them. When did she leave? Yesterday. She went alone. Yes, the school sent her there. Just her alone. Lu Baiken sat down and mumbled to himself, "The school is too much. They sent her there alone. How dangerous." Exactly. The school didn't even consider the fact that Gu Jingze is such a charming person. What if someone bullies her while she's there and we're not around to help? Seeing that something was up, Old Shu smiled and said, "Let's go. I'm planning to go to visit her. Otherwise, it will be too late for us to regret if something goes wrong. I'm going there in the afternoon. Are you going?" Lu Baiken's brow was tightly knit and both his hands were stuck in his pockets, as if extremely impatient. "Are you going or not? If you're going, my plane is parked at the airport. You can just come with me." Enough. If you're going, I'll go. Anyway, it's been a very long time since I've been to S City. He was so dead determined to save face. That afternoon, they resolutely flew to S City together. They took a private plane belonging to Old Shu's family. Fu Chengxi also went with them. It was her first time taking a private plane, and she felt that the plane was tiny but very comfortable. They arrived at S City in no time. Lu Baiken immediately went to the headquarters of the Lu family here and took 2 cars. Since it was the headquarters of the Lu family, they had no reason not to give their own young master the cars, which were also very expensive. One was Lu Baiken's favorite, a Ferrari. The other was a Porsche. They were staying in a hotel owned by Old Shu's family. After they had tidied up, they headed to S University. When they reached the entrance, Old Shu cheerfully called Gu Jingze. "Guess where I am?" "What's up? Why are you calling at a time like this?" "I'm so busy I'm about to die." "Hey, you're fantastic. I'm in S City and came to look for you with good intentions. I came to accompany you, but you can't be bothered with me." "What? You're in S City? Where?" "At the school entrance. Do you see the best car? I'm right there." "Car? Great. Do you have a car? Quick, wait a while for me. Send me to the venue. I'm going to be late." When Old Shu put down the phone, the people around him asked him what was going on. Old Shu said, "We even came at the right time. She said she's running out of time and needs a car urgently." As he was saying this, Gu Jingze was already dashing towards them. Gu Jingze gasped for breath and her face was flushed from being blown by the wind. However, at one glance, she saw the Ferrari and at the same time, also saw Lu Baiken. She stopped walking and stood there looking at the others. Lu Baiken pretended not to have seen Gu Jingze. Old Shu thought to himself that he was doing a pretty job pretending. Now, he knew that both of them had too much pride. Old Shu could only say first, "Jingye, you said there's something urgent. What's up?" Only then did Gu Jingze remember that she came back to take some documents and was going to be late. "The event venue. I have to go there now. It's almost time." Old Shu said, "In that case, get in the car, quick." He was just about to let her get in the car when he thought of Lu Baiken and bluntly said, "Chengxi, get out of the car. Baiken drives fast. Let Gu Jingye take his car."